Imagine waiting 16 years for a Star Wars movie, camping out overnight, building it up in your head your entire life, and then this is the movie you get.
Live from Crawford Studios.
CC, J Guy.
Whoop, whoop. What happened there?
What's up, my peoples?
What's up?
What's today's combo? Looking.
We are back for the fourth part of our series of all the Star Wars episodes, our Star Wars rewatch.
Yes, man.
So we are diving into the prequels.
Yes.
So we're going to start with Phantom Menace.
Right. So,
Now, I do want to preface this, okay? Now, I know this movie gets a lot of hate, but I will say this movie was a big deal when it came out because it was 16 years of Star Wars.
yes, sir.
People had not, there was an entire generation, my generation,
Right.
that did not see anything Star Wars in the movie theaters. So this was like a big deal. We grew up with Star Wars. We saw Star Wars.
I remember
we
when I
watched the
went to see it,
re-releases of Star Wars, and then we get the prequels. So, and the thing is it was mentioned, things from the prequels were so briefly mentioned, barely mentioned, like how in episode, 1, Obi-Wan mentions, Anakin Skywalker, and then, some of the stuff about the prequels is mentioned, but it's like they mentioned the Clone Wars. No one even knew what the Clone Wars were.
Right.
And then now you have a whole series about the Clone Wars.
That's right.
Mhm.
So that was kind of cool that they were able to backtrack and do that. So it was a big deal. All right. So I know, and also I do want one other preface about this is that, like, George Lucas said it over and over again, like, Star Wars, he made the movies for kids. So yeah, there's some cheesy shit. Yeah, you got Jar Binks, whatever.
Right.
You
Nobody
got
likes that.
you got the battle droids with the Roger.
Yeah, Roger.
But like,
Yeah.
you know
Roger,
what? It's whimsical. I fucking love it.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I like
It's
it.
a fantasy. It's cool as
Yeah.
shit.
Right.
I
yeah.
love it. I love it. You know what? I've grown to
The
like
little
Jar
stories
Binks.
that it comes up with.
Jar Binks is annoying. He's a little cheesy, but you know what?
Mhm. Yes, I like him very
He
much.
grows on you after a while.
Me
You
so,
know what?
what's to
I
go
don't
with
care what anybody says.
Yeah.
He grew on.
What was the reason for him being in there?
So like George Lucas made it to be more of a kids movie. He was supposed to be like a fun kind of cartoonish type character. He was
Nobody liked it.
yeah, no
What, you
one.
mean Jar Binks? Well,
Yeah.
because he was like the clumsy character,
Right.
And kind of like got annoying after a while. It's like they want to get more. Some people want to get more into the serious stuff. It's like we
Right.
got too much whimsy. I
Mhm.
thought it was a little too whimsical.
Right.
I thought it was good.
I thought it was fine, honestly.
I thought
me
it was
personally.
just the right amount of whimsy.
Yeah, right. Because
You
it was
know
like,
what I mean?
it was the beginning
They
of all
probably
the
could have
stuff.
done
and-
without him too if they didn't have to.
I don't know, man. Well, yes and no, because
Star Wars,
No,
man.
I'm saying, I don't know. I think you needed him only because when they were on
Were they
Naboo.
looking at new fans? Is that what it was?
No, because when they were on Naboo, he was their liaison, if you will,
Oh, I
because he
got
took
you.
them down to go and see because they needed to get down to underwater where Jar Jar was from. I forgot the name of the freaking city, but anyways, had to go down to the little city and he introduced them to their king.
Okay.
It was Jesus Christmas, Obi-Wan and Holy Jesus Christmas. No, not Anakin, man. It was Obi-Wan and what's his name? Went down to Naboo to go talk to
You Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon.
Jeez,
God.
Qui-Gon.
Yeah, I had a freaking brain fart, bro.
Qui-Gon
I'm like,
Jinn.
he would have
Qui-Gon Jinn.
naps.
And anyway, so that's why Jar Jar was there. He was the one that was taking them there to go and speak
Liam
to the
Neeson.
man and Liam Neeson.
Liam
That's what
Neeson.
it said there. Yeah, with Liam, he was doing this. So that's why I think he was needed. They didn't need to have somebody who was because they wouldn't have been up on the surface. Nobody from the water city would have been up on the surface.
Okay.
That then they needed, they wouldn't have even like really know where to go. They needed somebody to talk to get them over there and
All right.
introduce them and shit. So Jar Jar to me was a necessity. You know what I'm saying? And
Besides, it's the first one. It's the movie, the
Right.
first one, and of course, it's going to be all weird
And
Right.
slow
again,
and-
this was a big deal. People camped out for tickets.
Yeah, they
for this
did.
movie.
Right.
Yeah.
This was a big deal. I remember my brother and I went to go to the movies, and like we saw it like the second weekend, and the like guy in line's like, "How many times did you guys see this?" And I was like, "Oh, it was the first." He's like, "I only saw it 3 times." I was like, that's when I learned that Star Wars had like
Right.
serious fans. Like I
Right,
didn't
right.
know back then because like
right.
we didn't have the internet yet.
Mm.
Well,
But I know we did.
Yeah,
But
did.
like we didn't know,
Not like
but
it is
not
now.
like
Right.
it is. Like I didn't know that there were like that kind of Star Wars fans out there. I was like,
Yeah.
wow,
Right.
this guy really likes Star Wars.
Yeah,
I said to
right,
my
right,
brother,
right,
he's
right,
like,
yeah.
I didn't realize like Now I'm one of those people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I saw it 4 times, man. Where the hell you been? You're not a real fan. What the fuck's wrong with you? Jesus. Yeah.
So
yeah.
anyway,
yeah.
but it
Yeah.
was a big deal. The tickets were selling out instantly. People were buying them ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, people would walk. And back then, again, they didn't have internet sales. I don't think yet for movies. It was the internet was out, but it wasn't. It was early.
Yep.
So people were actually going to the movie theater to buy tickets ahead of time.
And I was there ahead of if my show started at 6, I was there at like fucking 4.
Yeah.
Waiting online because I wanted to get decent seats.
Right.
And I didn't want to sit too far to the left. I wanted to sit in the freaking middle.
Front.
Yep.
Or the front.
Yeah. No, I didn't want to be in the front. Yeah, I hate the front. Yeah. I was either like middle to the back and I needed to be in the
This wasn't just a movie release. This was an event.
Right. Yes. Yep. It was the prequel.
I remember going, I took my kids to go see it. And I think it was in Monticello too when we saw it. Yeah. It was good.
Yeah.
I remember doing it. I had already seen Star Wars and grew up with it. So I knew, I didn't know what the first 3 comics were about.
Right.
We kind of knew at the end of the other movie, but
yeah.
And don't forget, this is like early like trailer culture. And people would. I remember people would find out that the trailer was out, and this is before YouTube. You couldn't just go watch a trailer. The internet was out, but you couldn't watch. People would actually buy a ticket for another movie just to watch the trailer and then leave.
Get out of here! I never heard that, bro. Never heard that.
Yeah, people were so wanted to see the trailer so bad.
See the trailer, and then they would leave and not even watch the movie.
Or maybe they would, but they would go purposely to the
just
movies
to see that trailer. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe they'd stick around. Let's see if this movie's worth it.
Yeah.
Nah, we're good. That trailer was sick as fuck.
Yeah. No, that's funny.
I've
never heard that,
before
bro.
YouTube, before TikTok, before any of that shit.
Oh yeah, it was way before that.
There was the
it was
the early days.
Still flip phones, I think, at some point.
Yeah, but it was still the early days of the internet. Like you would, even if you were to sit down on your PC and dial up, you couldn't.
Right.
You couldn't.
Yeah.
There was no.
You got mail.
So you know how long it would take to watch a trailer?
Yeah,
you'd have to sit there.
Yeah,
it's like 20 minutes to wait for the thing to load just to watch a 3-second trailer.
What are you talking about?
Exactly.
You have to wait the shit dial up to get connected.
Right?
That's funny as hell. No, I never heard that before, Tom. Damn, bro, that's insane. I never did that shit, bro.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is so like this, because of the 16-year gap, people didn't really know what to expect. They had all this headcanon going on.
Right.
You know the term headcanon, like where something is like, oh, I believe it to be this way in my head, like of what like they perceived, and then they actually got it on screen, and it was probably much different.
Right,
well, it's much better as far as especially the lightsaber.
When you hear like the Clone Wars, you don't even know what that means.
Right,
like
had no idea.
Yeah, especially back then. Was clone even like a regular word? 78.
Well, yes, because wasn't that around the time they talking about cloning the sheep?
No, that was
later
the
on.
90s?
Yeah.
No, look at that goes to show you where I'm at.
So now you got all that stuff starting to build up, and again, and that's the other thing I want to talk about too is this movie is a big world builder. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I mentioned that in other episodes we were talking about this. Is like for the prequels, I truly believe that episode 3 is the main story that needs to be told.
Right.
But you can't tell episode 3 without having episode 1 and 2.
Right, because it leads up to that story.
And episode 1 heavily needs
it's
to
like every other story.
I mean, there's you have to introduce all these new worlds, all these new people, all this. They didn't even show Coruscant.
Yeah, right.
That was never in in any of the original trilogy.
Right.
Like all these new planets, all this.
Right.
It all had to be explained.
Yes.
Which
was great.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
You got into it immediately,
Yeah, because then it brought a little bit more, I guess,
Galactic Senate.
Right.
Yeah, right. Then it brought clarity to that stuff, to what the Senate was about.
Yeah, especially because you know what the other thing is too, right? In New Hope, remember, and it's such a thing that is so briefly explained, and they go back and it just fills. All that is when the Imperials are meeting, and I think it's when Tarkin, and he says something like because they mentioned the Emperor in the first episode. I mean, in New Hope, but they said something like the Emperor has dissolved the Senate. All power is going to him.
Right.
They mentioned that, and they're like, no one knows what that.
Yeah. Right.
Means.
We're like, wait, what?
It's so glazed over.
Right.
And then they go back.
Yeah.
And now you see all that happen.
Right. Exactly.
And then you see the Senate, Galactic Senate. It's just major building, this enormous building,
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
but so like It's also, this movie is generational spirit. You know what I mean? Kids loved it. OG fans felt conflicted. You know, it did get a lot of hate in the beginning, but I think it
made sense.
I think so. The prequels did get a lot of hate in the beginning. I feel like a lot of the hardcore. Oh, what were we gonna say, Lou?
Yeah, because what's his name is Darth Vader. They weren't. A lot of people were not happy.
They didn't like Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, but now
they love it. But
Yeah.
that's the thing that what I want to say is, like, it got initial hate, but I think after people really let the dust clear, I guess,
Right.
is like they kind of like it now.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
I liked the movie. I thought it was pretty cool. It was nice seeing the prequel for me. I liked understanding, like you said, the whole thing, just that build up, you know, to see how it was that Anakin became Darth Vader, to see
and how he was manipulated, and
to see how Qui-Gon was, how Obi-Wan was, to just watch all the characters grow. I thought that was great to see what it was for just to see all that stuff beforehand, you know, when there was quote unquote peace in the galaxy, you know what I'm saying? Before it got all kind of crazy and the shit, you know what I mean? I thought it was, I liked it. I liked it a lot.
So let's dive into the movie itself.
Yes, let's go.
So the first movie, the opening scene, you see two hooded characters come.
Yes.
You don't know who they are.
Yeah,
and they pull their hoods off.
Yeah.
And you see someone who looks like Obi-Wan, but he's not Obi-Wan. That's Qui-Gon.
That's Qui-Gon.
Because the first time I saw him, I go, that guy kind of looks like Obi-Wan with the long hair. And, you know, he's got long hair, but he's got the beard. But no, that's Qui-Gon Jinn. And then the young kid next to him is Obi-Wan.
Right.
So now that kind of gives
Apprentice,
you...
right?
Yeah,
yes.
and that kind of gives you now like a... like base kind of gives you immediately a good foundation for the movie, because there's a character that you know right away, you're anchored. So I think that was very smart on their part, but it shows two people. You never seen two Jedi together.
Yes.
So that was kind of cool. And like right away, I mean, I thought the scene was pretty cool, because right away you see that like they're prepared, they're a lot more well prepared, because this is in the era when the Jedi Council exists and all that.
Yep.
So like, remember they get gassed out. They already got
they put
the breathers on. They're ready. No fucking around.
Yep.
They get locked out of the wall. What do? Put the plunge lightsaber in it, cut out a hole. You know, this is stuff we never saw before. It was so cool.
Yep. Like, you could use the lightsaber for that? What? It could do that? No way. I want one.
It was so cool, because they always said the lightsaber could cut through anything, but you never, no one, and that was something I was like, how come they don't use it to cut around doors and stuff?
Yeah.
When to get in places. Like, how come Luke didn't use it to get into like,
I guess it depends on the thickness of whatever, you know.
But like now you got to see that in action, which is cool, you know?
Yeah. It was great. Yeah, because that was a good scene too, bro, when they did that. He put it in. He's like, you know, why are they talking shit to each other? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, yo, watch my back. He's like, what do you mean watch your back? I got to take care of you again? Well, just do what I'm saying, because I'm trying to get through this door.
This is like an everyday thing for them. Like,
It's like, yo, hurry up, master. If they're coming up here, there's more droids coming. He's like, just hold them back. What's wrong with you? Like, what are you waiting? They just do it. I've taught you better than this. You could get it. I'm almost there. Yeah, it was great. I think that was probably one of the coolest things for me, how much they were talking junk to each other. And they were just like literally just talking straight shit. Well, I wouldn't have to do this if you didn't do that. Well, I didn't have to do this if you didn't do that.
That kind of relationship, which was good.
Yeah, right. That was what was so cool. Yeah. That was
so you got the Trade Federation, right? And I can't help. I'm not trying to steal from another podcast, but there's another podcast I was making a joke about this. How racist it is, because like you're like, oh, I gotta go look at that Jedi. Oh, you know, like they made him sound like Asian as fuck.
Yeah,
so fucking racist.
Yeah,
he said Jar Binks. I'm Jamaican.
Yeah.
Oh, good to get the Jedi. Oh, you know, so fucked up.
And they did, bro. Yeah. Well, I think that's why it was so funny too, because people
I understand why they did it though.
Why?
Because they were trying to like make people feel like they're from other worlds, like they have a different accent, like they're not. Not everybody has an American or English accent. Because up until then, like, everybody in Star Wars either had an American accent or they had a British accent.
Right.
So they're trying to show.
So now they're showing
a little variation,
diversity of
of the universe. They're expanding the universe a little bit. That way. So I get that.
Sense.
Yeah.
It just sounded so like, you know.
That's so crazy.
And it's funny.
That character was weird as shit too, man.
Yeah.
Not for nothing.
Yeah. There was a bunch of them because, well, I would you get to that part.
They kind of even looked Asian too, the Trade Federation people, right? They looked like they could be smoking in like an opium den, you know?
They're racist.
Right.
Wait a minute. There's no character in Star Wars when what's his name is driving the Millennium Falcon and it's that one guy who looks Asian. He's got the hat on. He's got the crazy looking face in the movie, and he's talking to back and forth with one another. No, he'll get
Which
it.
movie?
Luke, what's his name? Will do it. It's Star Wars. What do you call it? Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi.
Oh yeah. I know who you're talking about. But they're the same species.
I don't know, but I'm saying he was also Asian looking in that
I think
one.
that's the same species actually. They're the same species as whoever.
So he's talking to.
I know who you're talking about. He's got like the bigger ears and the wide eyes.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think they're the same species actually. I think I have to go
and
back.
it sounds
and check
like
that.
he was speaking to some type.
Yeah.
I think they're the same.
language.
I think they're the same species as the Trade Federation.
Right.
people.
Okay.
That's probably how that would be a smart part on theirs. They show someone who's
Right.
Who's going to be in the
movie.
future? Yeah.
All
right.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So now, so we get past that scene.
Sorry,
so they get to Naboo, right?
Right.
And you got Jar Jar Binks right there.
Yeah.
You know, he's clumsy. He's getting them into trouble.
Yeah.
But
that shit was funny too.
he's clumsy as fuck. That's
Yeah.
just who he is. He's
Right.
Jar Jar. He grew on me. I'm gonna say with most fans, I didn't like him at first. but,
Really?
it was just so cheesy. But
I
then
liked it.
he grew.
I didn't get. I just didn't get the character. Yeah, it just didn't make
I
sense
liked
to
him.
me.
I thought he was good.
He was a little too whimsical at the time for me,
Really?
and now he grew on me. I like Jar Jar. I do.
I liked
Now
I
him.
didn't like him
like
at
him.
first. I'm not gonna lie.
He's still not
I'm
crazy.
gonna-
That's crazy. I liked
Yeah,
him. I
so-
thought he was cool. I thought it was a cool addition.
Yeah.
But again, I just thought he was a cool
Misa
addition. Yeah,
Binks.
Misa, I help you, sir. No, you follow me, sir. You don't go there. I just thought it was cool because, like I said, he was just. I like the idea of him being as. I will say whimsical, but being that kind of arts, and trying to come and help them, and because he's heard of the Jedi and he's never seen a Jedi,
Right.
and he just wanted to help and he wanted to be there, and they kicked him out. They kicked him out of his home. He was exiled. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I thought that's what I'm saying. I thought it was
Goddamn clumsy to get this.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was.
That's
They made fun of
another.
the
See,
shit.
that guy's whimsical as fuck.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
The king.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I liked it. I just liked it. I thought that Jar Jar was fucking great, bro. But that's just
So, I guess there's audience expectation versus intent, right?
Right.
They intended it to be more made for kids. Audiences, I think the kids probably liked it, but the adults didn't. But
Mhm.
They
again,
wanted the Star Wars that they
again,
saw.
that's what
Yeah.
George Lucas says time and time again. I made this movie for kids.
Right.
Adults like it too, but it's intended for kids.
Right.
So you got to keep that in mind. So if you don't like Jar Jar Binks, you're not a kid.
Yeah.
Get
I'm
over
just
it.
saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Get
you asked
over
my
it.
wife. I'm still
If you're a
5 years
kid,
old.
you might like them.
You're seeing the same thing about Star Wars? That's for kids as well?
Yeah.
Star Wars, yeah?
The whole Star Wars thing.
Yeah?
For
It's
younger
for kids,
Yeah.
but we're adults. Grew up
Well,
with
I
it,
was
so-
a kid when I did
Yeah,
see it.
Yeah, it was supposed to be. It
It's
was supposed to be just
you
that
don't
sci-fi
stop
movie.
like.
And then when I saw the other
we
ones,
just
I
don't
was an
stop
adult
liking
already.
it. And you know what?
Yeah, but then
They
they started making the stories to where it was like,
Yeah.
and it was more adult stories. You know what
Oh
I'm saying?
yeah, well
We
yeah.
had to
Well
pay
they
attention
well
to
they
it.
got
Right.
smart as they realized that
Right, yeah.
they got adult
Right.
people
Well,
still
and
watch
then they
them.
had a
I'm just saying.
following, so it became...
Right.
Yeah, of course. Now they learned, but I'm
Yeah.
saying when that came out, George Lucas was like, "Well, I'm still making a movie for kids."
Well, now I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, since you've read on that stuff more.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I know what I know because of the movies and little shit. But then the comics and the novels,
Yeah.
they were serious. They weren't.
Oh
comics.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They weren't.
yeah.
Like, it wasn't a
Yeah.
comedy skit.
Yeah.
So then I mean, why
I don't
would
know if he
make the
made them or
movie?
they just bought rights to them. I don't.
I thought he wrote. I thought
Did
he
he?
had a lot to
Maybe.
do with the stories. I don't remember. I don't know. That's why I asked.
I
you,
know. I'm
'cause
just
I
going by what that one thing that he said
Yeah,
about making it.
That's
for kids,
funny
but, yeah.
because I mean, like I said, the comics, the stories, the comics and the novels were still on that serious line. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They were, it was like fighting the rebellion, fighting the man, and
Right.
the rebellion, losing people and trying to do what they got to do to make life better in the galaxy. So.
Right.
That's why I'm like,
Yeah.
to make it for kids. The first one, like I said, all right, fine, I'll go along with that. Episode 1, I get it to be, but I don't think that even in the 70s, the first Star Wars, I don't think that to me that wasn't a kiddie movie. And you know what I'm saying? That wasn't
it was
made
adult.
for
It was
kids.
I guess. I don't know.
mid-teen.
between Princess and
And
Han
Han.
Solo.
Or
Right.
maybe that's
And
just
Luke.
George Lucas backtracking, saying maybe he wanted the prequels to be more kid.
Oh,
Right.
got it. Yeah.
But I think, it kind of helped, and then it wound
Yeah.
up going in the direction it was supposed to
Yeah.
go in. Anyways,
Right,
so,
right.
so the next scene you got Tatooine, right?
Yes.
And the introduction of
Yes.
Anakin Skywalker.
The chosen.
So one of the big things that you see now is that slavery is a thing in the galaxy.
Mhm.
It's it's fucked up. You got like this
Mhm.
whole thing going on, and even during it's funny because it's still supposedly in good times, and it's
Mhm.
still, they still have that. So
Right.
Yeah.
that's the thing, and so you got Anakin Skywalker and his mom. They're both like they're like slaves to like this guy who's like
How did they
Yeah.
come across them?
Guado, right? Guado.
How were they introduced to them? Were they looking for them, or were they just
No, they they
just
landed
came
on the
across-
planet, and because something happened to the
on the Trade Federation when
Yeah.
they had
Yeah.
they had to drop in from the
right
yeah.
from the backside, and they had walked in. So they were happenstance. When they came up and they found Anakin, it was happenstance.
okay?
Is
To the
what
Force made it happen. It
Yeah,
was
the
like,
Force. Right.
Brought them
Yes.
together.
it
Yep.
brought them together. So
Yep.
so this is Qui-Gon, and I don't remember. I'm trying to
Go ahead.
remember how he finds out, realizes he's the chosen one.
Because he says that the Force is strong with him.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
they checked his metachlorine count.
Yeah, they
Right.
did. That's
and then
right.
you're like,
That's
holy
right.
shit!
Yes.
Like, yo, this guy, this kid is
yeah.
serious
Right.
with it. So they stayed there, and he's like, yo, I have to finish. I have to do this race. And they were like hiding out because they were there for other stuff.
Right.
And then that's when they stayed there long enough for the race. for
So
the
this
pod
is
races.
literally the beginning of Darth Vader.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Right.
As a
yeah.
boy,
Yeah.
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 as a small boy.
Because had they just left him there, there would be no Darth Vader.
Right.
And you kind of learn how.
Or if they'd taken his mother with him as well, then maybe that would have been the difference. Because remember, he leaves his mother behind. That had to have an effect, and it did.
Oh, of course.
Right.
And that's
So-
the problematic. That's one of the things that is problematic with the Jedi Order. A lot of people say is that they pull
Right.
children away from their families.
Right.
So,
But at least if they were
yeah.
able to free her from slavery, what I'm
Right.
saying, and where they went with them until they got her safe, and then he went and trained, and then
Right,
he
right.
could, who would know how that would have turned
Yeah,
out, when
right,
you think of
right.
it that way.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen out there.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. I get it. I hear that. I
So-
mean, yeah.
And the cool
What
part is
if?
too is you kind of see, and that's the thing I love about the prequels is it adds value to the original trilogy. After you watch the
Right.
entire prequels and you watch the
Right.
trilogy again, it's completely different. The
Mhm.
original trilogy is completely changed.
Right.
of course.
Yes.
So and
'Cause now you
even
know the backstory.
Right.
backstory, and also you learn how Vader. When you see Vader riding the advanced TIE fighter that he's flying, you
Mhm.
realize
Right.
he's such a good
Yes.
pilot, and then you learn why he's a good pilot. Even as a
Yes.
kid, he was
Already flying.
pod
Yeah.
breaking everybody up in the
Yeah.
pod racing. You know what
Uh-huh.
I mean? So
Yeah.
you learn that, okay, now that adds that adds value to
Right.
his
Yeah,
piloting.
so he was, because everybody thinks that he's just a robot.
Yeah.
Nobody really. They saw him when they see
Yeah.
him at the end Return of
Right.
the Jedi.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not Return of the Jedi. Yeah, Return of the Jedi.
Right.
When his mask comes off or
Yeah.
whatever, like, oh snap! Like there really was some human. Like there was still that
Right.
human
Yeah.
look in there in the background.
Yeah.
So then now, so now when you see him as a kid, like, yo, now you're vested. Now you want to know who Darth Vader was before.
How he became
Yeah,
Darth Vader.
was he always evil? Was he always a
No.
bad guy?
And I think, again, that goes back to the mom thing, because if he
Right.
didn't have
Right.
that
Yeah. Well,
the
and then,
support or whatever.
well, and I mean that would get some for me. Another question was like,
Manipulation.
how many other younglings came from slavery? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
because-
Possibly a lot.
Well,
right?
that's what I'm saying, because of a lot of the other ones all made it, and they were there, and they were doing what they
And
needed
they're
to
all
do
pulled
for
away from their
Jedi.
families, too.
Right. So then, but if they weren't, so I think that because Anakin was pulled out of slavery and that he couldn't see his mom or whatever, yeah, like you said, he couldn't see, but that he was pulled out of slavery,
He
he had
go
to,
back and say it and just get her and bring her back.
because they said that he could. When he asked, they said he couldn't because he needed to train. Because
And he
of,
needs to not have attachments.
Right,
You know,
he
the
can't
whole
have that kind of attachment.
problem,
Right.
which ended up being a problem
Right.
later on,
Right.
as we find out.
So that's that's
Yeah.
why we keep going back and forth on this
Yeah.
thing. So that plays a lot into it, I think.
right. I'll give you that. Yeah, I'll
Right?
give you
I mean,
that.
I would
yeah.
have to. I
yeah,
think.
because I mean, when he found out that his mom had died, that's when he really
Oh
bugged
yeah,
the
he
fuck
snapped
out.
out.
I went too
And-
far. Sorry, I skipped big
No,
time.
it's all right.
Yeah.
And with the pod racing, right?
Mhm.
We find that that's his natural ability, that he's already in tune
Right.
with the
Mhm.
Force
Right.
through the pod racing, because apparently humans are not good at pod racing
Right.
because they don't have like the upper
Reflexes and
reflexes.
stuff. Right.
But he is, because he's got the Force.
He's
right.
using the
Yep.
Force.
So he
doesn't
knows what's
realize
coming without knowing.
He's just
Exactly.
doing it without even
Yeah.
understanding it, and
Understanding that
he
he's in tune
realizes
with the
it.
Force.
Because that's when we also see that he had already started building 3CPO.
Yeah, that's right. He
Yeah.
built 3CPO.
That's what's so.
Wait, he built the R2 yet?
Yeah.
It was
No,
3CPO.
no,
Yeah.
so that's what's so crazy about that too, because how it goes full circle.
No, I thought R2 was in the beginning, wasn't he? He was in the beginning
remember.
with the very first
with Obi-Wan
and
and
Qui-Gon.
Right, you're
Oh,
right.
duh.
Right, you're right.
Yes.
It
I
was
forgot he
only
in-
C-3PO.
Yes, C-3PO
Yeah,
is
you're
who
right.
he built. Right.
R2's been there from the
Right,
beginning.
you're
R2 was there from.
Even
That's
Yoda
right.
knew.
Yeah, right. Even Yoda knew him. That's right. Yeah. So then, like I said, that's why, like you said, with the as far as him with the Force, they felt that he had the Force. They can sense that he was super strong, and that's when they checked his midichlorian count and that they saw that he
Right.
was, because before they even brought him over, they went back to go talk to Yoda and them. They went to the council
Well, yeah.
and
that's the
spoke on
next-
him before they did it.
Right.
Yeah,
That's see, good segue, good segue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the Jedi sensed something was off, but I think they handled it wrong.
Yes.
You know
Yeah.
what? So this is like the brain of the movie, right? So like, the council, they don't trust Anakin.
Mhm.
And especially Mace Windu. Mace Windu.
Yeah, bro. He didn't want to hear none of that shit.
And you know what? Was
He
he
had-
wrong?
No, he wasn't. Yeah.
He was on.
Yeah.
So I would
He-
say they should have trusted Mace. I'm not
Especially,
saying,
especially because Mace Windu, his personality was he used both the dark and
yeah,
the light.
he
Right.
for pod.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's,
So he was
that's a
probably able
lightsaber
to
form.
sense something
That everybody
more-
else didn't.
right because he was able to balance those
Right.
two.
But I think that had, like you said, and this is why I'll agree with you 100% off of this part, that's where they should have bought his mom.
But,
you know what I'm saying?
no, that's that's where
because-
they're problematic. is
right,
The
so-
whole attachments.
Yeah, but
and,
but still, because of him and how
Yeah.
old he was, when they took him from his
you're
mom,
right. They should have.
he was already too old. They said so. He
Right.
was
You know
too
what?
old.
You're right. So if he's too old, maybe they should have thought that maybe they shouldn't have attachments, but maybe they should slowly detach, like bring
Yes.
his mom and then
Yes.
kind of like
And then let her
transition
be over
around.
there,
Yeah.
right, and, like,
let her
you know,
say her goodbye.
Yes,
wish
and
her
if you
son all
bring
the
Get
out
her
of
settled
slavery.
in someplace where he
Yes.
knows she's safe.
Right, take her out
and
of
then,
slavery.
all right, say goodbye. No,
Mhm.
we'll see you when you're older. or
Right,
Something
yeah,
like
right,
maybe some
right.
shit like that.
Because if they would have
Yeah,
taken her,
that-
and
eh,
think
that
about it,
would've
if they
been
would have
smart.
taken her,
But that is the problem with the Jedi Order.
right,
Is
yes,
they're dogmatic on their
Yes.
rules, and they didn't even understand them. I don't think they were just like, "Oh, you can't do this because that's at least the dark
Right,
side.
yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Right,
The dark side."
yeah.
You know, like
Yeah, yeah,
with, like
yeah.
understanding that there's some fucking nuances.
yeah, exactly. Something that had changed.
It was just
you know?
overkill because it,
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and they don't even trust Qui-Gon, the Jedi Order.
Right, yeah,
and
because they kicked him out
Qui-Gon
of
was hardcore.
He
I would
was.
say, a lot of people talk about Qui-Gon Jinn and that he was more. He wasn't so far. He was more light side than the Jedi was because he was a. He kind of like saw himself as like a servant to the Force
Yes,
itself, and
right.
not like
Yes.
To the
we're gonna be
Jedi Order.
hardcore dogmatic to the
Right, yes.
Jedi. It's like no, I'm a servant to the Order,
Mm.
and this is what I'm servant to the Force,
Right.
and this is what the Force is telling me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna light side,
Search your
Yeah,
dark
right.
side. Like
Yeah.
we're going by what feels right.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah. And that's why I'm saying, bro, if they would have, because and like I said, they said so in the movie that Anakin was already too old.
Right.
So then, it's like, well, do we really want to do
Which
this?
is weird because Luke was way too old.
Well, it's because of by the time they were finding Luke, right? This is already way past everything of with the Jedi hiding.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is already after Order
Right. But
99.
don't you remember? Even Yoda said it to Obi-Wan when Luke first finds him,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's he's too old. I don't know. I will
Well-
learn. I can do it.
Well,
you know.
no. That's not when he found him, because Obi-Wan was always there with Luke, because they knew him as Old Ben. They didn't, Old Man Ben over there.
Yeah.
So he already knew. So Ben already knew who Luke was
Yeah.
and was just trying to protect him.
Right.
So now, like I said, at all that time and all that stuff from the original Star Wars, that's when like all the Jedi were already thrown out.
Yeah, but I'm
scattered
talking
throughout the
about when
galaxy.
Luke found he was supposed to go and find Yoda.
Right.
Right. He finds Yoda.
Yeah.
Right. And he finds this crazy, cranky guy. We talked about
right.
this on
Yeah,
the last
yeah,
podcast,
yeah.
Steve, and he's going through his shit, throwing
Right.
it around,
Uh-huh.
being obnoxious and everything.
Right.
And of course, Luke is acting like a big child and da da da.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
you see the Yoda come out and say he has no discipline
Right.
or
Yeah.
he's too
Right, right.
then he does mention that he's too old.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
He's
right. Yeah.
he
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
too old.
Yeah. He was too old.
He just doesn't want it. He's trying. I can do it.
Too
And he starts
old.
begging him.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I didn't know you were Yoda. Like,
Yeah, you're right. I did forget he said it like that. Yes, you are right. Yes,
You
you are
know?
right. Yeah.
because he's talking to Obi-Wan. You can hear him talking back.
Yeah. And you're right. And so that then had they, I don't know, man. I'm still stuck.
But they
because
were able to do it because they had no choice in the matter
at
anyway.
that point, right? At that
Like
point,
you're saying, because the Jedi Order was gone.
right?
There was not,
Yeah.
not a lot of them left. So yeah,
Right.
in that sense, you're right. Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
now they have, well, it doesn't matter. We have to try anyway.
Yeah,
And he wound up being dangerous.
yeah,
Powerful, I should say.
yeah. It does.
So-
Crazy. But guys,
And then you got the final battle scene, which is with they finally get to see Darth Maul, because they showed him in other parts.
right,
You even see him talking to, we didn't touch base on the first time you see Darth Sidious,
right,
which is
Right.
Emperor Palpatine later on.
right,
But you do see Sidious, and you see him talking to Darth Maul in the scene.
right.
But we do get to the Darth Maul battle, and that's an important thing. And that's when this is where Anakin loses the mentor he actually needed,
Yes,
which was Qui-Gon Jinn.
right.
Ghost
Yes,
Rider. Yes, absolutely.
That's the mentor he actually needed. I mean, yes, Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan
did
was thrown
his
right
best.
into
That's his best. Yeah,
He did the best he could.
yeah. I don't think
You know
he
what I
was
mean?
ready.
He wasn't ready, but
Mhm.
he did the best he could.
Mhm.
But Qui-Gon was the one he needed.
Right. Yeah.
And that was an important thing that a lot of
Right.
people know, because it would have been a totally different series if kind of boring series actually, if Qui-Gon didn't die.
Well,
Because then he
Maybe
wouldn't
if
have
he
been,
died differently and not
I mean,
necessarily in that
it would have
scene.
been a different series. There would be no Darth Vader. You know what I mean? It would have
Yeah.
been different.
Right.
But
Yeah.
the point
I'm
is,
with you.
but and of course, the very famous song. That's where you first hear the Duel of Fates.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Battle.
That
With the double
was
Which is
so
funny because I don't think
great,
I don't
bro.
think that's you don't hear that song in Attack of the Clones, but you hear it again in
Revenge of the Sith.
episode Revenge of the
Yes, you're
Sith,
right.
with the famous battle scene.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Which
But,
was the craziest
yeah,
freaking
yeah.
lightsaber fight.
Yeah,
We'll
it
get
was
there.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, you talking about which one you talking
No, he's talking about Revenge of the Sith. We'll get
about? Oh,
there.
yeah,
But
yeah.
so,
no, that's yeah.
but that
So-
But even this
lightsaber.
one was good. With
So
Darth
this
Maul was
in this
great.
now this was
Yeah.
crazy because this is the first time you saw something that was a lightsaber that wasn't, because he had a light, the
dual.
bow. It was basically a bow,
Right,
a staff.
right, yes.
Right, Steph.
Yeah.
It's like, holy
bow.
shit! Like
Yeah.
this is
Or a
something we've
boken.
never
Yeah.
seen
Yeah.
before,
Right.
and it's red,
Yeah.
Right.
so we know
So like, what the fuck
that
is that?
that's
Two of them
Right.
connected.
yeah.
So he's
And
super
like-
powerful. So right off the
Yeah.
bat, because of how he's fighting,
Yeah,
we're already thinking that
We're
this
like,
is, and because we
"Ooh."
know it's a
Super
prequel,
skilled.
he's more powerful than
And-
Darth Vader will be.
yeah. We didn't know, you know what I
Right.
mean? And he's like this fucking devil-looking character. They
Yes.
made him
Right.
with the red skin and the
Right.
fucking
Yeah.
tattoos
I
on his
know.
face or the
Yeah.
markings. And that's before we really knew anything about the expanded universe. I mean,
Right.
it's cool we learn later on that he's from the planet Dathomir, which is what the Rancor is from. We mentioned that before.
Right.
And then if you get into the Clone Wars, the expanded universe, they have like Dathomir witches. There's actually witches in the Star Wars.
Yeah.
Universe. So people anyone watches who doesn't really know the expanded
Yeah.
universe, definitely Clone Wars is cool. And if you watch even Ahsoka series, you see the Dathomir witches. So that's kind of cool. They're from Dathomir.
Yeah.
Anyway, just figure I'd point that out to anybody.
Coming up to that, I'm gonna do not next, but that's coming up. That's coming up too. But no, and that's why watching and seeing that was our taste of the dark side.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? Of
And-
what it was, because you heard them talking about it or whatever. And you're like, wait, what? And then how like
Then-
you said, you see Darth Maul. You're like, what the? Fuck?
And
Who's this guy?
and
Yo!
an important thing to notice too, if you ever do watch like the Clone Wars and Rebels, is that scene of how he kills Qui-Gon. That's very important. How he tries,
Yes.
because he tries doing that move to Obi-Wan
Yeah.
later on
Right,
in
yeah.
Rebels, and Obi-Wan sees
Like,
it.
yeah,
Old man Obi-Wan, by
Yeah,
the way.
yeah.
He looks like he does in Episode 4. And that's how how Maul actually dies.
Yeah.
Technically, before anybody, spoiler alerts. This whole episode is spoiler alert. So
Yep.
hopefully you're.
yeah,
But Maul lives, so
Mhm.
you'll find out if you
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
Clone Wars.
yeah.
But
It was wild because they just started showing that again.
yeah.
on,
Oh
the
yeah,
Disney
and you
Plus.
watch.
If
There's
haven't
already a
seen it,
series about
it's
Maul,
the-
so
yeah, Darth Maul thing is on Disney
Yeah,
Plus,
which
It's
is
all
pretty good. Yeah, it's a good series so
Yeah,
far.
It was so cool because they have it in a few, and it's funny because in the animated series they have Darth Maul in different things, and two different the animated series they have him in two different ones
Right.
because they're showing what they had to do for him, and then now what's coming out is when it first happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So-
When he first got killed or cut.
Right.
So yes, Phantom Menace didn't just introduce Anakin. What the fuck? Let me
Anakin.
Yeah,
So Phantom Menace didn't just introduce Anakin.
right.
Introduced the fall of everything.
Yeah,
Right.
This is the fucking first domino falling.
yes.
Yep.
I don't know. Do we want to say the first domino fall? Because I'm saying like this is the beginning. Like this shows you who's who.
Everything's coming into place. This is the beginning of the
Okay.
end. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Okay. I'll
You know what I
take
mean?
that.
Everything's
Right.
coming to
Take
place.
that.
Qui-Gon dying.
Right.
You got Anakin being introduced, who
Mhm.
ends up being Vader.
Right.
You even have Senator Palpatine being
Mhm.
introduced into the mix, and
Yep.
Right.
how he's kind of getting
Sith Lord.
Yes.
kind of working his way politically, starting to work the political ladder.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's the beginning of the end.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Which episode 3 being the end.
Right. Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? To the whole way of life of everybody in that movie.
But don't
Everybody in
let's
the
not leave the fact that Qui-Gon dies, but Obi-Wan winds up kicking what's his Darth Maul's ass. Man.
Oh,
Well, yeah.
You know,
That's right.
He
Yes.
loses his lightsaber, or was it
That
think-
Obi-Wan loses his
and
because
then
that's
he
when the
gets
doors were
Qui-Gon's,
closing.
right?
Yeah.
When those force fields were
Right.
closing,
And then he gets
he's
Qui-Gon.
trying to catch up to him.
The
Right.
Force, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He jumps up, gets it, and then
Yeah.
he does his thing.
Yeah, and that's what he did. He uses Qui-Gon's lightsaber.
Right.
Yeah, that was such a cool, like, and he's so smooth, bro. Darth Maul was like super smooth, like, yeah, you don't want none of this. He was toying with them, and because he thought he had the upper hand, is why his ass got cut in half.
Right.
So question for you guys: is this a better as a rewatch than the first time?
Yes, I think so.
What do you mean as far as
Episode 1. Do you
Yeah.
think it's the first time watching it was better, or a rewatch is worth better?
It's always good when you rewatch them, even
Yeah.
now,
Yeah,
right? So
I think it's
you always learn
definitely
more
worth
of
a
something.
rewatch. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that part. Oh,
Yeah.
wow, I never realized he
Right.
said that. Or
right.
there's always something that you're like,
Mhm.
oh, I didn't even. If I listened carefully, they was talking about this.
Mhm.
Or
Yeah,
but yeah, I think a rewatch is always good,
yeah, definitely.
especially
All right.
when it didn't get great reviews right away.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
what do you?
it did. It did well, actually.
It did okay, right? It
actually
did
pretty
good, but it was still like people
Here's
like Tom said, people
Die
like,
hard Star
mm,
fans,
mm.
Star Wars
Yeah,
fans
see,
will
like,
lose that shit
What do you
on
think?
stuff.
Is it a better rewatch or is it a better?
Oh, definitely. The first time watching it, because there's so much world building, you don't
Right.
even.
Mhm.
It's so hard to comprehend everything that's happening
Right.
in the Star Wars universe. And then if you watch all the other Star Wars movies, and then you rewatch the first movie, now it's like, oh, more stuff kind of makes sense. More
Yeah.
stuff fits in a place
Okay.
better.
Yep.
So I do think the first time watching it is a little confusing because there's just so much new stuff to take
Mhm.
in that you can't it's a movie that's definitely worth a rewatch. And I think people should give it a chance and stop hating on it so much.
Yeah.
It's really
yeah.
it's worth
It's good.
worth a rewatch.
Especially
really
now
is.
that
It's
they're all
really-
out and you can see them again. And
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so now here's a question I got for you guys. Okay, so there's 9 Star Wars episodes.
Yes.
Let's say 10. Let's say 10. We'll include Rogue One. I want to include Rogue One in there.
I was gonna count Rogue One.
Well,
So
what do you
that's 10
count it?
movies. So that's 10 movies.
Right.
What are the
So
other
on a
three?
rating of 1 to 10, and meaning of the Star Wars movies, where does it fall? From 1 to 10 being in the order
Which
of
movie?
being
Am I picking a movie or am I picking the whole series?
so where does Phantom Menace fit on that scale? If you had to rank them all, where would Phantom Menace be on that scale? 1 to
Probably
10.
6.
I'm gonna say shit. I guess on the scale of 1 to 10, I would have to say 4 because in the order that they came out in. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I and I dug the part that that was the prequel and it explained a lot of the shit that happened in
Right,
4, 5, 6. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I would say it being where it is, it being the 4th movie release,
Yeah.
I think that's where it fits. For
I
me.
give it a
I
5.
s-
I give it a
Yeah?
5. I put it right dead in the middle.
I'll say
I think-
6.
I say
Okay.
5. I say it's important because of the world building. It's important to set the story up.
Yeah.
But you could technically start with episode 2 and just be like, oh, but it would be hard too. It would be too hard.
Yeah.
I take
because-
that back. But no, I do still think episode 5. I think it's world building.
Right.
I think it's dead in the middle. I don't think it's
you have to
least,
introduce the other characters.
but it's also
everything
not
like
most
that.
important.
Yeah, what do you mean? No, you don't think Phantom Menace is important?
No, I said I don't think it's the least important, but it's not the most important. So
yeah.
I
I
put
think
it
the good
dead
thing
in the
that
middle.
Right.
Star Wars did is they were
Right.
able to get. There were other stories, backstories to
Right.
things where
And
it wasn't
that's-
just
bro,
that
I
particular
know,
story. There was
I
other
know.
stuff.
Isn't it
So that
great?
made it really good.
Yeah.
And then it just took
It
off.
is
man.
so amazing. That's why, I'll
It's-
say this, bro. Every time it comes up, everybody needs to watch the animated series or the shorts. You need to watch them because it'll give you so much. Like me watching all the animated series, right?
Yeah.
Watching all the sideshows, the Ahsoka and whatnot. As I'm watching it, it's putting all the other movies into perspective.
Right.
Like it's like when you watch the Bad Batch.
Jesus
When
Christ.
you watch the Bad Batch and you're like,
Yeah.
well, what the hell? How come these clones are the way that they are? And come to find out, there was a glitch in their mind thing,
Yeah.
and they were burnt out. So they were already
But didn't they get him
considered
out? Most of them get him out?
later on. They all that came out later on. That's why you got to watch Bad Batch.
Right. I
Because
watched
that's when, well, no, I'm saying not you personally. I meant, that's
I
why
got
people
up
have to
to
watch them because it
was,
tells
how many
you.
seasons were that, by the way?
Bad Batch was, I want to tell you 3. I think it's 3 or 4
I might
seasons.
have to watch one more. I
Yeah.
think I only did 1 and 2. I think I didn't do 3 yet.
And it shows you how they stayed in touch with some of the Jedi.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, because they knew where they were. And they were the ones who were sent out. And then you start to see other clones that had their own personalities.
Yeah.
Right.
Bananas.
Whatever happens to that young kid that they're taking care of?
They never show, so they don't finish. And that's one that I wish that they had.
I wanted,
because
that would
you
be
don't
cool.
know
But
what
What are you
that-
talking about?
Huh?
Omega?
Omega. Yeah. So you don't know where, like I'm saying, but they didn't show.
Did she have the
They tell
Force or
you.
something?
No, she didn't have the Force. She was the original that they wanted to make the clone off of.
Oh, yeah.
So that she was the special one, like she was the perfect specimen of the clone. So
Gotcha.
she was them, the clones. She was
Right.
them
She
as
was
a
them.
youngin. Like they were trying to make her, have her grow and not just and ready
Right.
full adult clone kind of thing. But they never showed what happened to her later.
Okay. That's going to be a cool
That's,
that would
that's
be a cool
open
I'm
ended.
story.
They
saying
might
so.
go back to that. It's open ended.
Maybe.
I saw a nice cool thing that I forwarded to both of you guys, the Mace Windu, where he's older.
Yeah,
the
that
sa-
shit was so crazy.
It was, and it looked like it was like something they were going to
yeah.
do. I would be like,
Right.
that would be awesome.
I would love to
because-
see them do that where like he lives.
Right.
Yeah.
So then now here's the shit. He could have lived.
that.
He made high jumps like that in Clone Wars. If you watch Clone
Yeah.
Wars, you see him do it.
Yeah. So because that's right, because when he jumps off of
Yeah.
the when they were
Cliffs and
fighting
stuff.
and they were in the arena,
Right.
Yeah.
they came to go save
Oh, yeah,
Anakin
he
and
did
Obi-Wan
that
or whatever.
in-
He jumped off the ship.
that's in the Attack of the Clones, but even in
Right,
Clone
but
Wars,
still, right. Yeah,
he
right.
jumps off. In the,
So he could do that. And then even still.
That would be cool for
but-
him to come back.
Yeah. Well,
we
look,
should do
because
stories like that. man.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why you have to watch what.
He could have like landed on like a moving.
Well, right. That's what I was going to say next
Yeah.
because you
Or
look at.
another building.
Well,
Yeah.
so you have when Anakin and Obi-Wan, when they were going, Anakin jumps off of the spaceship that they were on or whatever, when they were chasing, remember when they were flying through the
Yeah.
city and they were jumping from.
An Attack of the
and
Clones
Attack of
when
the
they're
Clones.
trying to find the sniper.
Right. And they would, they were flying and jumping off of shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So Windu being who the master that he is, was that he was, and how you going to have Darth Maul survive getting cut in half?
Right. And not
And
have
then
Mace
you're not
Windu
going to
survive.
have Mace Windu,
Yeah. He's
who's
gotta
the
be
fucking OG, and he's not
He
going to
probably
survive.
went to
something like
hide
that.
because he heard what happened.
Well, no. I think he got his ass kicked. Like he was hurt. You know what I'm saying? He used the Force to save himself from, being just killed
Well, the
altogether.
fan theory is that he could have had like amnesia or something.
Right. You saw that too?
Yeah.
Because I was going to say that next, you little shit. I got it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they said that. So he got down there. He forgot who he was because he was knocked out. Some people came, whoever it was. I forgot who his fan thing was. But that, he was taken. Then he didn't know who he was, but he knew he had the Force. But he was still trying to remember who he. That's what that picture you
Very
sent us.
cool.
Yeah. So then it was him trying to find, and because he's borderline, dark side, light side kind of shit, that it was him with the struggles. And, he was like the Punisher, if you want to put it like that.
Oh,
You know what I'm
snap.
saying? Like, I'm going to protect the weak, but I have no problem with fucking killing you either.
Right.
Because I'm protecting the people that need help. And that's what Mace is. And
Exactly.
yeah, I saw that shit. I was like, yo, that would be so insane. But now here's the shit. The bad part, bro, is that, Sammy L's too old to
So they
do
could
that.
they could do an animated series.
Yeah,
or
but
something.
the point is
yeah.
like if it's years
And just
later,
have him do the voice.
No,
you
no,
have
no.
And just
old
have him do the
Mace
voice
Windu.
of the
Too many
animated
years.
series.
Yeah, he could do the voice.
No, but I'm
Yeah.
saying if it takes place like 15 or 20 years later, then he's
then
at the
maybe.
right age.
Yeah, but I'm still saying, I don't know. You think that he would be able to
Well,
do it?
beyond,
No, no,
Like
I'm
an
saying him
old
like in a
Mace
live
Windu,
action.
like an old,
Like old Mace
yeah,
Windu.
old, like Obi-Wan, like he's old now. Maybe like this
because they were around the same age.
Yeah.
by the time like A New
Mace-
Hope comes out, he'd be dead.
Yeah.
He'd be too old to
Right.
be alive.
That's
'Cause
why,
he-
yeah.
but-
You're right.
But he might be alive in the in between. There's a lot of
The in-between.
there's
Yeah,
a lot
the-
between.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
No, you're right. It could
They
be.
could do that.
Yeah, because they don't, I mean, even the fan ideas, there's no
Yeah.
him when he died. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just,
But,
just when he tried out the window
right.
and then that was it. That would, they brought him back, bro. I would camp the fuck out in front of the theater and like
yeah.
watch
Just
this
tell
shit.
his story. What happened to him
Yeah,
after? What
yeah.
he did, what he was
That would
doing.
be so
That'd be cool. I would like to
sick,
see that,
bro.
For sure.
And
Yeah.
But Shizzle.
Mandalorian Grogu movie's coming out.
I
I don't
know.
like the title though. It's Mandalorian Grogu. They
Yeah.
can't call it something a
Yeah.
little bit better than that.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know. It's
call it-
good.
I hope it's good. 'Cause
I
The,
don't
the
know.
title sounds like it's going to be cheesy.
But see,
I'm
I
not
don't
going to
think-
lie.
yeah.
I'm hoping it's going to be good because I like the Mandalorian seasons.
Yes, I
but-
don't like the idea they made the movie. They
Yeah.
should have just made another
Another
season.
series.
That's what I
and
said.
Another
continue.
season,
I'm like, why would
Yeah.
they do that? They got the series.
Yeah, yeah.
Keep the series.
This isn't an anime where you could just turn around and make the movie like that off of the series.
See what
Yeah, I
happens?
didn't
It
like
might
that
do
shit.
well, man. It
Oh
might
no,
do really well.
it's gonna do well because people are gonna go see it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yes.
saying? If it's gonna be good, it's the whole story,
Mhm.
and people are gonna be so pissed off that they're not gonna tell you that it sucked.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah.
fuck that. If I had to sit through 2.5 hours, you're gonna sit through 2.5 hours. Like that's
Yeah,
time of my
I-
life I can't get back.
Right.
I'm more excited about Ahsoka season 2.
Dude,
Yes, that
I've
was
been
good,
dying
man.
for that shit,
Hell yeah.
man.
Oh, doing an
love it.
Obi-Wan too.
Oh
yeah,
yeah, that's
another
right. they're
Obi-Wan.
filming
That's
too.
right, another
Doing an
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I just I think it's gonna fuck up continuity, but that's all right.
What do you mean?
No, I
Well,
don't
what are
think
they gonna
so.
have in? Is Darth Vader gonna be? Is he gonna fight Darth Vader again? Because now it
No, it
sounds
could be
so
just
stupid.
other things that he actually ran into
Yeah, okay. Because
Right.
you know how like
in his travels.
Right.
Because you know how like in New Hope he's like, last time I saw you I was the apprentice. Now
Yeah.
but he fought him in the series. Like
I
so they're gonna fight him
He
again.
fought him
you know
three
what I mean?
times for total, right?
Well,
Isn't it 3 times?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But see, I think
Because the
what's
last
gonna
time
end
is
up
on the ship,
happening-
and when they do the really good one,
Right,
where they're
yeah.
actually fighting,
Yeah.
right.
like the, like
They
they
soup that up a little
and they
bit,
throw
yeah,
in the
and
force,
redo it or
just
whatever.
throwing shit at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think if they make with this Obi-Wan season, I think what they could do with the Obi-Wan season is make it him, because now they're looking to find who, like where the Jedi are. You know, it's
And
him
now he's
trying to
out, and he's
figure
like,
out-
well, come on, bring it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I think
But-
that would be his story. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, I think that would be
Right.
Obi-Wan's story. You know, him, you know,
What else is he
between going
doing?
yeah, like, you know, him fighting back, him going to
Right.
different places and, you know, fighting the dark side.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Him fighting the imperial bastards that they are. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. They'll come up with something.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think so. I think they'll come up with something. But like I said, the one series that I really think they need to do, and they need to stop dragging their feet on it, is to do a Vader series.
A Vader
Oh, yeah.
series.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's so
yeah.
obvious. I mean,
But it
Hayden
should only be
Christensen-
one.
Right, no,
Like,
yeah,
it
one
shouldn't be
season,
like
limited
5
series.
series. a
Limited
season.
series.
One
It
season.
should be like
Yeah,
one.
that's
yeah,
a limited
okay.
series.
Yeah, just
Limited
a limited
series.
series.
Do a limited series.
Mm-hmm.
So many
Um,
episodes, or
Mhm.
right.
Hayden Christensen said,
Yeah.
"Hell yeah!" That's
Yeah,
what he
yeah,
said.
yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
"Hell yeah!"
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's down for it.
Right,
should
right.
do
So that's not even a question.
Right.
And all they got to do is they could pull from the comics. I honestly think that it would be cool if they did
Right.
the era of in between episode 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you show him definitely the
Mm.
first episode. I think the best would be where he has to kill a Jedi and bleed the Jedi's crystal from
Right.
her. And you could show that scene, and then
Yeah.
you could end the episode with him beaming the fucking lightsaber up, and you just see the
Yeah.
red beam and his fucking mask.
Yeah.
That would be so fucking
Yeah.
balls, bro.
Yeah,
that would be
yeah,
so
yeah,
fucking
yeah, yeah,
awesome,
yeah.
right?
Well, technically,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be his mask because doesn't he kill a Jedi when?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So when he's first powering up his new lightsaber after he bleeds a crystal, right?
Right.
It's all hitting the crystal,
Right.
and it turns red. It bleeds. Now he puts it in his lightsaber and he lights it up for the first time. You see the red lightsaber glows on his mask.
Right.
Credits.
But that's what I'm saying. He had his mask when he
Yeah.
killed the lightsaber. Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Duh, he did.
Yeah, this is after he
Yeah, because he got the mask
he wasn't even
first.
full Sith by the time when he
Right.
that's also why he
Yeah.
lost to he wasn't full Sith
Oh,
yet. He was
no.
still kind of
Right. He had the
dark.
suit, but he didn't have his
But he
dark
was-
crystal. I mean,
No. When the first time he fought him, he was still going through the transition.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So he wasn't full Sith
Right.
yet.
Yeah.
now, So, but I also think it would be cool if they said, "All right, we're going to show the time in between episode
Right.
3 and 4, but why not show some behind the scene? Like the last couple episodes can take place during the original trilogy. In
Mhm.
between episode 4 and 5
Mhm.
shows him when he finds out that." Because that's a major scene. And I know a lot of fan people made some AI videos with it where it shows like Boba Fett, you know, coming in and show, oh, so the man who killed destroyed the Death Star, his name was Skywalker. And then, that's when Vader first finds out that the
Yeah.
person who blew it up is
Right.
like they could show him finding out that
Right.
he has a son. Like that would be fucking cool.
Right.
And then they could end the series. And here's my idea. See how Disney fucking take
Yeah,
this
yeah, right.
idea. You could
Yeah.
steal it from me.
Hell yeah.
So and they could show that last scene again, but they could show it now with Hayden Christensen. swapped out. I know it would be controversial,
Oh,
but
you
it wouldn't
mean at
take
the
it.
end when
Would
he's
it take
talking to
Oh,
Luke?
yeah,
that's
yeah.
you with my own eyes?
Wow.
Be
Yeah.
cool to add that continuity, and then maybe show at the maybe like show like him in the world between worlds, on the other side, and he's meeting Obi-Wan and Yoda for the
Right.
first time, coming back and like, I'm sorry, I fell to the dark side, and they're like, no, it had to happen this way. And maybe
Yeah.
Qui-Gon explains it to him. It
Yeah.
would be cool to show that shit and just end the episode kind of on that high note,
Right.
Because I did see
and
that.
then
Did you
show
see
him
that?
how he becomes in between the world between worlds, like he is in this.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then they
yeah.
could end the series that way. That'd be fucking dope.
Yeah.
They should do it. It would just fucking fill that continuity up
Right.
completely.
Yeah. Because
All
they
right.
had a thing. I saw a real Obi-Wan I'm sorry.
Disney,
Anakin
steal
talking
this
to
idea.
Qui-Gon.
You can take it, please.
Yeah.
Call me.
Yeah, right. Call me. Yeah. No. But when Qui-Gon was talking to
Dave
Darth
Filoni.
Vader,
Come on,
they had
let's
that.
do
I
it.
saw a
I'll
reel
partner with
that
you.
shit.
Sorry.
Yeah. They had Qui-Gon talking to Anakin or to Darth Vader.
Yeah. I
I'm
saw
like,
a thing on yeah, that looked pretty.
I thought that was pretty good. Really cool little.
There was one on Instagram I was watching,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's talking to him. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that
That
is
shit was
so
fucking
cool.
He was talking to him mad smooth, bro. Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was a good shit. But yeah. So anything left for you?
That's
on your
it.
end? So cool beans.
Oh, stay tuned
Yep.
for 2 more episodes from now. We will cover Attack of the Clones.
Yes, there you go. That's when it starts to
Yep.
get really gritty.
There we
Yeah,
go.
that's when it starts to get like that action-packed shit. With that being said, thank you everybody for watching. Like, follow, subscribe, all that other good stuff. Love, peace, and hair
Share.
grease.
Live long and prosper.
And may the Force be with you. Holla!